Hi guys, welcome to this Fable Fortunes guide. Basically I'm going to be concentrating on the heroic tales for Marshall the Knight and his chapter 6, as tricky as it can be. So I'm going to show you the deck that I use, the cards I use. I'll talk you through briefly the cards I used and my way of thinking behind it. And then I'll follow it by showing you some gameplay using those cards. The idea basically is to I'm going to say early game and late game. You don't want to go into late game because late game is when the big guys come out. So you've got the Royal Officer, which does 3 damage. If he's killed that unit that he's done damage to, your hero will get a 10-point damage. You've got your Lord of Wraithmarch, which will destroy one of your strongest units on the deck. So you've got these big boys that come out, which I would like to call late game. So the idea is basically for this deck is to reduce the enemy hero down as quick as you can. Alright, it's only 20 points compared to your 30, so it won't take much. You just need to control what's going on the board. Alright, just a quick note as well, it's not a budget deck, so the cards that are in this deck aren't from, so basically when you start the game up, aren't the cards that you've got. Okay, 2 of them, which you really do need to be in there, are, so you've got your Westcliff Recruiter and your Offensive Gnome. They are in your starter deck, you need them in this deck. Everything else has been unlocked. They're not major cards, but they're quite handy to have in there. I haven't spent real money on this. It's basically unlocked from playing the game naturally, leveling up, getting card packs, the silver coins, that kind of thing. Okay, so I do apologise if you haven't got these cards, but the main cards that are in here are from your starter deck. Your Mage Hunter, which you do need in there, isn't from your starter deck as well, I'm afraid. Okay, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So, without me waffling on forever, I'll just quickly crack on with what cards I've used. So, your trophy card is the Boot. Free card, does 2 damage. Always control the card at the board at the beginning, because their Royal Cadets have a 2/2. Use your Boot, down, and then use your first card. So you've got a little bit of advantage. Next one, the Apprentice Inventor. There's some cards in here that don't need to be in here, and this is one of them. The reason why it's still in this guide is because the gameplays that I'm going to show you does feature this card, and I thought there's no point in me taking it out to show you the cards I'm using because it would just be confusing. That I'm using because it would be confusing. So he's in here, kind of like an experiment as well. He's at the end of your turn. All players draw a card. Now, I kind of thought, oh, does that work in this one? It doesn't. No, that's only for your PvP, not the story. But it was worth a go, and it's a cheap card to have. It's there for backup. Just a little bit more strength in there. Not a bad card to use. Maybe swap it out with something that you prefer to use differently. You might not even have it because it's an unlock. So don't worry too much about the fact if you haven't got it. Okay, it's just in there. Bowerstone Bard, always good for giving a little bit of a boost to a card. If you want to kind of go in for a damage, use that one first. Okay, unlike him. Next one, Offensive Gnome, 2 of them. You need them in your deck. The early game, you want to get him down, get the enemy hero down as quickly as possible. Okay, so 2 of these, you take the guard off their enemy units, so you can do damage to their hero. Okay, that's purely why it's in there. You might have a row of enemy heroes there, but if you can take the guard off and do some damage to the hero, do that instead. Unless you think you can kind of take out some higher enemies or whatever. But anyway, it's in there to do that. Alright, really important. Potato Farmer, nice and cheap, does 2 damage on entrance. That's the other thing, the big entrance, use that for your quest. Okay, because there are plenty of big entrances cards in this deck. And when you do, when you pick your good and evil, I think it's the evil that you got the choice of putting down a peasant with a +1 strength. I can't remember what the good is. There was a point where I just didn't bother with either of them because I very rarely put the hero power down. But it can be handy in certain situations anyway. So it's up to you what you do with that one. It's not majorly important to win. It might give you the edge, but it's up to you. So Potato Farmer, followed by the Battle Medic. Now use this one instead of your Tofu Trader. I know your Tofu Trader is free, but then the Boot is even better, I think. So you've got your Battle Medic. She's a 2/3, heals for 3, job done. Say no more. Bowerstone Guard, big entrance, gains guard. That's always good when you play a card and you've used up all your coins. Puncher, again, it's all about doing damage. This is 4 damage to a unit. Get that unit out of there so you can do some damage with your other units on the enemy hero. 2 of those. Westcliff Recruiter, this is the one you need. So when you put him down on any cards afterwards, he is boosted strength-wise. So he works brilliantly with obviously any card that follows, but obviously mainly with the Angry Mob, because that's 2 peasants. He gets boosted for 2. Now, play him if early as you can, because you don't want him getting bitten by the Lord of Wraithmarsh or the Royal. What's the one? One of the other cards that basically reduces his strength down to 1. I can't remember off the top of my head. I do apologise. I think it's the Royal Tactician. Anyway, so this is what you need. So the stronger he gets, you've got other cards. You basically put a card down first. Make sure you've got a card down on the board already. So that basically, when you put him down, you can put guard on the other one, because you want to kind of keep him alive as long as possible. And the higher strength he is, the stronger he is then to take out the enemy hero. Okay, take the guard down using your gnome or your chieftain, your red cap chieftain. We'll talk about it in a minute. And he can do some serious damage. Seriously can. You need him in the deck. Okay, and he's a starter deck as well card, so you'll have him. Angry Mob, as I just explained. Crooked Gatekeeper, he's in there as a bruiser. You know, you need a bit of a fighter in there just to kind of like do some damage. Put guard on him, he gets health. Simple. 2 of those. Guard Pig, same again. If you've run out of coins, well, you've got 4 left. He's always in there because you don't need to worry about putting guard on any of them. He's got it automatically. Mage Hunter, love her. She's important to have. She's not in the starter deck, I'm afraid, though. But she has Silence. Now, Silence is useful for one particular card in there called the Bouncer. Now, the Bouncer, he gains guard whenever the hero enemy takes damage. Okay, so pain in the ass situation. You got a row of units and you want to kind of take out the heroes. So you take out the character who's got guard, and you've got your other units to kind of do damage to the enemy hero. You do damage to the enemy hero, all of a sudden the Bouncer, he gets guard up. And you've used your tactical gnome already, or whatever, to take the guard off originally. And he's got his guard up, so that can be a pain in the ass because you have to keep attacking him, and he's quite tough, as far as I remember. This card, Mage Hunter, will silence him. Basically what that means is if you put this card on the Bouncer, he cannot use that ability for the rest of the game. He won't gain guard every time the hero enemy is attacked. It also good to use if your units have been reduced health with been buffed, or the enemy has been buffed, or you've been buffed in a negative kind of way. It takes off anything like that. It doesn't heal you, so if you're taking legit damage, it doesn't bring back that health. But if you've lost health through a spell or something like that, I believe that's when it works. So always good to have, but use it in this deck for the Bouncer because he is a pain in the ass. Alright, where are we? This one, the Malignant Wisp, if I've said that right. Enemies on their side, if you've got a lot on their side, which you don't really want to have, but if you've taken their guard down, it's fine because you can put this one down. He's got 5 strength, and he will be boosted health-wise with the number of enemies on their side. Alright, Red Cap Chieftain works the same as the offensive gnome, takes guard off. He does a bit of damage. He's relatively cheap. He's another 4 gold. So always have 2 of those. I've only got 1 at the moment because I didn't have the second one. I would swap it over probably with the Apprentice if you've got them. The Apprentice Inventor, because he doesn't really need to be in there. Write them down. Now, when I play one of the games, I got a bit confused at one point because I was concentrating so hard. I read this as destroy all enemy units with 2 or less health. So, of course, when I took out a couple of enemies, they weren't dying, because one of them was quite strong. And then I reread it and it said 2 or less strength. Now, that was me just being a plank. But the best place to use this one is when the Royal Commander comes in. He will spawn 2 Royal Cadets either side of him, and both of them have guard. And they are a 2/2. So if they come down, you've got this one, write them down in your hand. You can use this one, takes them right out. They've got no guard, do damage to their enemy hero. Wild Swing, again, more damage, destroy a damaged enemy unit. So if you've got this one in your hand and you can see that it's going to come up and you've got the opportunity to do a little bit of damage, like you've got a peasant with a 1/1 to one of their stronger characters, okay, it will kill it, but this card, next move, will destroy it. Completely get it out of there, alright? 2 of those, Royal Officer, different description to the actual game itself, but this one's quite handy. It will boost all your cards if you've got a load of them on a row. always have that one in there. There's 2 of those. Finally, the Royal Tactician. He's just kind of plonked in there. He's quite tough. 5 gold, give you units of 1/1. So if you're going to go in for the kill, put that one down. He'll boost you all, and you can go for it. Okay, so that's basically a quick rundown of the cards. I think you're behind it. So the ones you need really is your Westcliff Recruiter, your Gnomes, your Red Cap Chieftain if you've got any, and your Angry Mob if you've got any as well. Those are the 4 main ones. The other ones are just kind of like just do damage and boost if you can. And like I said, the early game, reduce the hero as much as you can, get the guard off everyone, and just concentrate on damaging the hero. Don't worry about their units, okay? Because if you take too long getting the hero down, their big heroes are going to come out, and you'll just be taken out anyway. Alright, so I hope that's helpful. I hope it kind of like does help you out a little bit if you are struggling with Chapter 6 on the night. And on that note, I'll show you some gameplay. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Good luck. Okay. Big entrance. I want this guy. Don't need 2 of these at the moment. So, who do you think you are? Don't want to put you out. Let's put you out. Early game.
Don't see heroes doing this sort of thing.
This rain basically clouds wind.
You know what the trouble is? But I've got so much to give.
Okay. 4 and 4. 4 and 20 leopards.
You hold them in.
Okay, so I want to take off this guy. Start doing some damage to him. Okay, so let's take him down by 10 minutes. See the gnomes and the red caps. Brilliant. That's fine. Big entrance again. Okay, ideal. Okay, so this one, the bouncer, after a friendly hero takes damage, this unit gains guard. Alright, so basically every time if I take the guard off him and do damage to the hero, he'll get guard back, which is really annoying. But the silence card,
I'll snare you like a little rabbit.
take that off completely. There you go, it's off for the rest of the game. So let's put out another card. This guy. It's a win. Thank you very much. Okay. Not the best starting hand, but we'll see how it goes. Get review too high. You might be beneficial. We'll keep the rest of you, I think. He is very handy to have too.
Could be better at this. You know it.
Okay, we'll keep him in there so we can use that to the otherwise it would be a dead card. Alright, because we need to use it early, so we just use him.
Gotcha, you varmint.
Don't see heroes doing this sort of thing.
No, I wonder if we use... Destroy all enemy units with 2 or less strength. Strength. Okay. Let's have a pop at...
Line here, please.
Okay, let's trade.
Who occupies the
I've got so much left to give.
Or even it as...
I could have used wonderfully if you tried.
Okay. That's good because... I need you.
Yes,
Just
my
a
lord.
boost. Thank you. Westcliff Recruiter. And I'm not putting safeguard on.
You better not
I'd be
be
an outlaw.
wasting
They don't
my
own me.
Okay. This is where we could do with all enemy units.
Stay away from me!
Those. Let's boost. Right.
I'm on you!
Let's do that.
You know what the problem is?
Okay, deal 4 damage to an enemy unit. Let's bring out you. Because you're a toughie. So he's nothing to worry about really damage wise. This guy, he's a pain in the ass, but I'm just wondering whether we can whittle this down without killing them. Function damage for him to enemy unit. Right. Yep.
I'm not crying.
And I think
Something about
that is... Oh shit. Big entrance. Too high. Right then. The boot.
I'd be an outlaw if they'd only have me.
Oh, be an outlaw. What have we got? Okay, nothing major.
I need fighters.
But
Stay away from me!
Don't see heroes doing this sort of thing.
okay. 2, 4.
This rain basically
Get a
clouds wind.
Bit of backup. West Clifton Recruiter. Don't destroy him. You can see.
I've got so much.
Good. Right. Fortunately.
Here, patch yourself up.
Right, let's get rid of their guard. Bosh. Bosh. Right. So let's let's make him stronger.
Yes, my lord?
Okay. 4, 7. Let's see how we go. Let's get rid of him.
This might get messy, balls. Bandages? Any?
Take you out. Safeguard on. None of you actually. Got 2 left. Use you. Down you go. That's how you do it.